Okay, this is where the trial gets interesting, because today wasn't just about another person taking a stand. Today, the prosecution continued building something they've been trying to build since day one. A timeline they want the jury to believe matches Keffe D's own story. And one of the most important witnesses today was E.D.I. If you know Tupac, you know exactly who he is. Now, E.D.I. was one of Tupac's childhood friends, a member of the Outlawz, and someone who was traveling with Tupac's entourage the night in Las Vegas. And here's where his testimony gets very interesting. Now, E.D.I. testified that he was traveling in a vehicle directly behind Tupac and Suge Knight. He said they were stopped near Flamingo and Kovo when a light-colored Cadillac pulled alongside the BMW. And he testified that he could actually see an arm and a firearm coming from inside the vehicle. Now here's the part I want you to pay attention to. He could not identify the person's face. So E.D.I. is not sitting there telling the jury, I saw Keffe D. He's not identifying Orlando Anderson either. But what he is doing is corroborating something very important. The basic scenario prosecutors have been describing: Tupac's BMW, the Cadillac pulling alongside them, and the attack coming from that vehicle. And then came another detail that really stood out. Afterwards, E.D.I. approached Tupac, and according to his testimony, Tupac warned him to get down because they were going to shoot him. Seconds later, E.D.I. said he found himself looking at what appeared to be a shotgun, except it was a police officer. This is a first-hand account from someone who says he was right there in the aftermath. But that's not all that happened today. A Las Vegas firearm examiner testified about 7 cartridge cases recovered from the scene. And according to his examination, all 7 had characteristics consistent with coming from the same firearm. That matters because the prosecution is continuing to establish what physically happened that night, not just replaying on stories told years later. Then investigators testified about items recovered from Davis's home. Among the material photographed were books, articles connected to Tupac, Death Row, Orlando Anderson, and the retaliation that followed. Sounds damaging, right? But here's where the defense pushes back. Investigators admitted they couldn't tell the jury who collected those articles or exactly why they had been collected. The defense also questioned whether investigators had thoroughly examined Davis's electronic devices for evidence collected for his book. So now we're seeing something really important develop. The prosecution is basically saying, look at all these pieces. Davis is